If someone would have told you on election night, after your celebration, you're going to have 9 county employees arrested in 3 months, what would you have said? What would you have said?
I can't say I would have been surprised. When you run a large organization, whether it be a law enforcement agency, a bank, some sort of a company, things like that happen. It's how you handle them that sets you apart from everybody else.
But it's such a short period of time here. I mean, it's like you just get, do you feel like you just get past one and then something else happens?
When you've got 2 teams specifically out proactively searching for information and looking for that sort of activity and knowing full well that you're going to hold people accountable, you can't say it's a surprise. It is a disappointment when it happens, but you can't say it's a surprise. We're humans. You know, whether we're state peace officers or hold some sort of a professional license of any kind, we're humans, and it happens. But again, you just need to make sure that you're holding people accountable and you're putting the right message out there to the public that, look, when this happens, we will handle it professionally, thoroughly, and make sure that people are held accountable. Is there
a common thread between any of these?
Meaning what?
Like, do you think it's part of a previous culture? Do you think it's part of, you know, just what was normally happening here before you took over?
I know that looking through things, I have certain tools at my disposal that weren't available to previous administrations. I have a dedicated public integrity unit that I knew that was something that we were missing. When I came in, you know, that was my last job with the SAPD, was I ran the public integrity unit at that agency. So when I came in here and I started taking stock of things that existed, didn't exist, when I found that I didn't have a public integrity unit, to me that was like somebody telling me I didn't have a homicide division. Like, it just didn't make sense to me. So I set about building it, and so I set about recruiting. I purposely left some openings on my command staff because I knew that once I got in, I'd have to fine-tune. And so I purposely set out to recruit somebody from an outside agency that had that skill set and other skill sets that we were looking for, and I found that person, and we built that unit around that person. And so I've got an aggressive, proactive public integrity unit that is definitely holding people accountable.
How important is that unit to you, and the fact what that unit signifies to the county?
Something like that has to exist. For the public to have that trust in a public official, be it a sheriff, a chief, a mayor, or whatever, the public needs to know that that person has that component to where, okay, this person, when things go wrong, when somebody's human side takes over and they run afoul of the law, this person will hold that person accountable no matter what rank they are, no matter what office they hold. This person will hold them accountable. That's why the taxpayers put me here, to ensure that. And I owe it to them to make sure that we're doing a thorough job of that. And so absolutely, that's what we're doing.
With your background in policing, public, media, and the integrity unit, how do you react personally when these things happen? How does it affect you?
It bothers you. I can't say frustrated is the term when it happens, when I initially get the call that something has happened. Angry is a good word for it. Frustration would imply that I'm throwing my hands up and I don't know what to do. I know exactly what to do in a situation like this. I've been an internal affairs investigator. I've been a public integrity supervisor. I've managed the public image of an entire agency, bigger than the sheriff's office even. So I know as far as messaging and as far as handling that situation and making sure that by law we're keeping the investigations separate but concurrent, holding them equally important. I know what to do. I know where all the pieces fall. So it's just a matter of doing it.
Do you feel like you're at the point where you're in danger of this overshadowing your department? Of people thinking of these incidents when they think of the Bexar County Sheriff's Department instead of the important life-saving things you guys do every day?
No.
Are you concerned about that?
No, because I constantly remind the public that for every officer that gets arrested, runs afoul of the law and gets arrested, they got arrested because 10 other cops were doing their job quite effectively in making sure that that person got there. For every cop that runs afoul of the law, there's 1,000 others, 10,000 others that came to work that day and did what they could to put bad guys in jail and hold people accountable and serve the public in an honorable way. So I'll take those odds. You know, one bad seed against 1,000 other ones that came to work and did it the right way. I'll take that. And as long as we're continuing to deliver that message to the public that, look, we're an organization that's not afraid to hold our own accountable. We're not afraid to arrest our own deputies or employees if and when the time comes. I've also got 1,400, 1,500 other dedicated officers that are doing it the right way every day.
And that's the message you want sent?
Absolutely, that's the message I want sent. These last few incidents and any incidents that might occur in the future, because I'm not naive enough to believe it's never going to happen again. Those incidents do not define us as an organization. Okay, very recently I had 2 deputies that, without fire training, without fire equipment, went into a burning building before fire alarm got there, went into a burning building and pulled a baby out of the burning building. I mean, that is what defines us. That is who we are as an organization, and those are the kind of people I'm proud to wear the same uniform as and stand beside any day of the week. So
we're coming up on, what, 8, 9 months that you've been in this office. What's been the biggest surprise so far? The biggest surprise so far? Let me think on that one for a little bit. Anything that you expected that you didn't find, or that you found that you didn't expect? Just some of the components that were missing when I got here. A public integrity unit was one of them. You know, I wanted a little bit more, and we've talked about this in previous stories. I wanted a little bit more of a clean process as far as discipline goes. And so we've set about refining those processes, redoing the paperwork to make sure that we're using the same forms, making sure that we pushed that level of responsibility for issuing discipline further up the chain of command to ensure more continuity. But when it comes to discipline and holding people accountable, you've got to make sure that you're consistent and fair across the board, regardless of rank, regardless of where this person might work, regardless of whether I knew this person before in their career. We need to make sure we're doing that. And so that's what we've set about doing, is making sure that process flows smoothly. So just the lack of tracking, the lack of certain processes that didn't exist here. I had expected more from a large organization. We're creating those from scratch in some instances. You included. You know, a lot of your command staff hadn't previously worked at the Bexar County Sheriff's Department. Correct. Was that a conscious decision by you? Absolutely it was. I wanted a good mix. I wanted some people from within with institutional knowledge. I've got a command staff that they are varied. The one thing everybody has in common, we're all cops. At the end of the day, we're all cops to the core for our whole career. I think I'm one of the junior members at 25 years. Everybody else is 31 years, 34 years of law enforcement experience. But yes, I went out and I recruited specific skill sets from federal agencies. I've got 3 retired federal agents, supervisory federal agents on my command staff. I've got people from within. I got one person that came with me from the SAPD. But again, they have specific skill sets that I was looking for to plug into a specific job within the organization. Before you were here, you worked very closely, obviously, with Chief McManus. Yes, sir. Has he been an influence on you? Absolutely. Do you take anything from him that you're like, oh, I remember how he reacted in that situation? Yes. There were times when I will tell you, we would be in a crisis situation at the SAPD, whatever reason, and I, as the spokesman, I was on high alert, and my nerves were getting to me, and he was always calm under pressure. And it would unnerve me. And I would ask him, how can you be calm at a time like this? And he would, look, I remember like it was yesterday. He'd say, did you create the situation? Well, no. No, I didn't. Can you fix it right now? Well, no, I can't. Okay, it'll work out. We just got to do the right thing, and it's going to work out. So just relax, and let's just handle the situation. And so I learned that calm under pressure from him. Yeah. One of many lessons, I'm sure, that you learned from him. And at the time, I didn't know that he was training me for something bigger. He didn't know he was training me for something bigger. I was just kind of learning as we went, and I learned a lot. I learned a lot how to be a good spokesman from him. I learned a lot how to be a good leader from him. Did you ever have any doubts when you were running that you were going to win? Because Sheriff Pomerleau was a well-known sheriff, if nothing else. I mean, a lot of people thought you were a bit of a long shot to win this.
Sure.
Did you ever, in your heart of hearts, think, God, this might not happen?
No.
Really?
Absolutely. Because I was in and here's perfect case in point. I was in a job that I felt I was born for. I was the spokesman at the SAPD without knowing a lot about my background. I grew up in radio and TV as a kid.
Yeah.
That was my dream job. I called it, I was playing in my Super Bowl. Like, I could have stayed in that job for the rest of my career and been happy. I was willing to walk away from that because I knew that I was going to get, I knew it in my heart of hearts that I was going to get this job.
Yeah. Interesting. No, never a doubt.
Nope.
When you're faced with, you know, some of the things that you've been faced with, whether it's the hazing incident that you see on tape, whether it's, you know, official obstruction, you know, some of these other things that some of your employees have been, or things that may come down the line, what do you rely on to make decisions, to decide this is right, this is wrong? I mean, is there one thing that you kind of like, or do you know, how does that process work for you?
Well, for one thing, my command staff. I have total trust in my command staff. I know they're going to make the right decision for me. And we're always going to err on the side of being right. We do what's right, and you don't have to worry about, oh, what did I tell the media? I got to keep my lie straight. That doesn't occur here because we stand on the side of truth, okay? You know, one of the other things that I rely upon is just my resolve. Yeah, it takes a bit of resolve to say there's indicators that hazing behavior has existed here for decades, because it has. I'm not going to deny it, but it takes a certain bit of resolve to look everybody in the eye and say it stops today and it's not going to happen here ever again. And I mean it when I say it.
What's your message to the people of Bexar County right now? You know, 8 months into your tenure here.
To the people of Bexar County, I am having the time of my life. I may come to work and I may be angry at some of the situations that we're confronted with, but again, they're going to work themselves out because we're going to do the right thing in the interest of the public that we serve. And I want them to know that I'm relishing every moment here, and whether I'm here for 4 years or 24 years as their sheriff, I'm going to come to work every day and I'm going to do the best job that I know how every day, and at the end of it, whether it's 4 years or 24 years, I'm going to leave it all on the field.
That's all the questions I have, Sheriff. Anything else you wanted to bring up? Anything else you think we need to talk about? Okay, thanks. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.